To start a new program in C++ using CoCoALib, the easiest way is to look in the examples directory. There is an example which is called xempty, which does what it says, does nothing. The point is that this gives you all the structure you need to make a new program without having to remember what files to include and what's not. So just to show you an example, here I am in the in the shell, and I do make xempty and it compiles, and then I run it. And here what it does, it just prints these two lines. This is a template file for example programs, and the program itself does nothing whatsoever. So the first thing you do is you take this file, make a copy, and change the name of it so that you have a template for putting in your code. How does it work? This does the include. It starts the namespace std so that you can write without having to put the prefix std all the time. It defines the two strings with a comment. In more interesting examples, they will tell you some insights about what the example is about. And then it does the necessary setting, which is to create the global manager, and which is the structure that starts the definition of ring QQ, ring ZZ, and other memory things, and starts the signal watcher, which we are not going to use now, and prints the two strings we saw before. And then it says, put your code here. And so that is what we are going to do now. All the rest is trying to catch if there are interruptions or if there are errors. So these are details a bit more complicated that if you're not an expert, you don't really want to know. So we make a copy of this. I already did that. Made a function, a file, which is called my.gbasis. So I change here the date, I put my name. I wrote that this is my toy implementation for Grosvenor basis. And if you seriously need it, use gbasis from CoCoA itself. And then this is what was there, and I didn't touch it. And I start from here. You remember that part, put your code here? This is my code. So I copied the very first lines from the lecture about the division algorithm, which were create a ring and create 3 polynomials. And let's see how you do that in CoCoA 5, CoCoALib. So I create the ring P, and I need to call new polyring with the rationals and the symbols X, Y, and Z. The syntax is not as pretty as CoCoA 5, but thinking that it is C++ is pretty good. And then the easiest way to print a polynomial in C++ is just write it in the string and let CoCoA read the string and make a polynomial out of it. So I have to say that this string has to be read in the polynomial P, because we don't have this concept in CoCoALib, which is use. So we don't have a global ring in CoCoALib. So every time we create an object in a polynomial ring, we have to say in which of the many polynomial rings I might have, I want to have my polynomial defined into. So these are the 3 polynomials. I just copied the strings exactly as they were in CoCoA 5. And then my very first step is to print out the 3 values of these polynomials. So I do make x my GBasis. Of course, I had compiled it before, and then I run it. Okay, this is the way we do our very first little program in CoCoALib.